Okay, you guys, today we're going to be talking about different accounting platforms and what to do if you do not like QuickBooks Online. Really, if you don't like QuickBooks products in general, this video is going to be for you. We're going to talk about alternatives to QuickBooks today. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a long time, you will know that I love QuickBooks. It is actually my preferred accounting platform. I like it for small businesses. I am also an accountant, and I'm one person with one opinion. And I know from talking to lots of other people and lots of other small business owners that not everybody loves QuickBooks, okay? And I think it's actually good for the market to have different choices. I don't think there should be a monopoly on any kind of software, and nothing's going to be a one size fits all. So my goal today is to introduce you to a couple options and alternatives to QuickBooks Online if you are just not a fan, okay? And not QuickBooks Desktop either. Like everything's moving away from like desktop solutions in general. So there are still going to be times that you want to do that, but really most of the accounting solutions now are going to be cloud-based accounting solutions. And that's what I'm going to present to you today. What I want is for you guys to leave me questions below because I want you guys to find the right solution for you and for your business. And again, nothing is going to be a one size fits all. So I'm going to present you with these three options today. We're just going to do a high level. We're not even going to be jumping into the actual platform yet. Now, if you want to see any of these, I would like to do a walkthrough of each one of these platforms. But I want to hear from you. Like, is this something that would be helpful for you? Do you want to see a walkthrough of these platforms? Because I want to dive in, but those do take time and energy and effort to like get good data in there and to be able to actually show you. I even have to train up on how to like do it. So, if nobody's going to watch it, I don't want to do the video. So let me know what you want to see. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to talk about three platforms. That is Xero, FreshBooks, and Puzzle. Okay, those are three. Now, you've probably heard of Xero if you've been around the accounting world at all, and then maybe you've heard of FreshBooks. Puzzle is kind of a new player, okay? So I like to see new players coming in. I'm not saying there aren't other things. And again, this is specifically for the small business market. I am not talking about the NetSuites and some of the larger like ERP systems that you can get as you get into be like that medium to large size business. This is specifically things that are tailored to small businesses. I also think like there's a couple other things that I'm not going to spend time talking about today, but there's a platform called Wave Accounting, and then Zoho Books also come up when you look at like lists. I've used Wave Accounting before. It's not my favorite. Actually, I don't like it at all. But, that can be a solution for people. I'm not going to go into that one today. I think that the best ones are the three that I'm going to be talking to you about. So let's just go ahead and dive in. Okay, so as we look at these three different platforms, I'm going to be looking at some of the key features, and then we're going to look at the pricing, and then also like, do they have a certain niche? Do they kind of cater to a certain type of business? And that will help you if you're just trying to think about which one you should spend time on if you want to go that next level. This is the high level video. What do they do? And then we'll go next level if you guys want to see it. So I'm going to screen share and we are going to walk through the websites of these, and I'll just point out a couple things that I think you guys should know about. All right, here we are in the Xero platform, and you can get to this by going to claracfo.com/Xero, Xero. We do have some special pricing specifically for anybody who is using our link because we do have an affiliate relationship with them. So this might change if you're seeing this after March 31st, but right now it's 80% off of 6 months. Now, that's not what we're talking about though, because we need to figure out if this is even something that is going to work for you before we talk about pricing. So Xero, I would say, is the closest rival to QuickBooks. And I will say that because it is probably the most flexible. So QuickBooks has kind of everything you need. You can, do invoicing, bill pay. You can, obviously it has all your GL, your bank reconciliations, that kind of thing. So you can do all your reporting, but it has a lot of things that will bolt on and sync with and talk to, the system. Xero is going to be like the number 2 to that in the US. Now, Xero is the number 1 accounting platform in New Zealand, Australia, and I think UK as well. Kind of those, because it was basically, I think it's based out of New Zealand, so it kind of has dominated those markets. So in other parts of the world, Xero is number one. QuickBooks in the US is kind of the number one. So this is kind of the closest competitor we have to QuickBooks right now. And it just offers all the different types of features. So yes, you can do inventory through Xero, which is important because some of the things that we're going to look at today can't do inventory. You can pay bills. You can do reimbursable expenses. It obviously connects to your bank. Nothing that's cloud-based at this point should not be connecting to the bank. Like this is pretty much like, this should be table stakes, right? You can accept payments, invoice people and accept payments. Project tracking is another very important thing. And then you can run payroll. It syncs very well with Gusto. I'm pretty sure. I don't think they have native payroll. I think the payroll is more, use Gusto payroll software and Xero. So they work together. Go back to my features here. And then you can do bank reconciliations and so on. And then also, if you look down here, it does, down here in the corner, there's lots of other apps that it can connect to. So let's just kind of click on that real quick because there's lots of integrations similar to QuickBooks, lots of integrations with QuickBooks. Xero also has a lot of integrations. So, here you can look at the App Store. There's lots of things. This is all like available. You don't have to be a user of the software to start browsing this because I'm not a user yet. But you can look through, and if you are using maybe like a third-party inventory, for example, like Sin7, if you're using third-party, you can see does this integrate or does it not, and it also has ratings here. So you can flip through that if that's something that's really important to you. And then let's talk about pricing. So right now you can see 3 different levels of software: early, growing, and established. And then it'll show you kind of what's included in each one of these levels. So $20, $47, and $80. Okay, quickly, we're going to go to claracfo.com/QBO to look at the comparison pricing. So this is the deal that we have with Intuit where it's 30% off for 12 months. But I just kind of want to show you guys the comparison price points. So right now, Simple Start, this is the discounted price. So if we do the math like this, Simple Start is about $35 a month. Essentials is around $60 a month. Plus is at $100 per month. And then Advanced, I guess that's closer to like $200 per month. So we've got, this Simple Start is probably more in line with like the pricing of this early stage. But when you look at this early, they do have some limitations here. So like you can't send more than 20 invoices, which I think that's pretty good. 5 bills. You may be using bills, you may not. You can still reconcile bank transactions. You're not going to get multiple currency. You can't track projects. You can't claim expenses. I think this is specifically like employee expenses. Yeah, this is like expense reimbursements, which if you don't have employees, you certainly don't need. I also think this is not reflective of the affiliate deal. This says 90% for 3 months, and I think our deal is better than that. Anyway, and then Inventory Plus is an add-on. But I think the pricing is a little bit more favorable here than QuickBooks Online because you could potentially operate on this early one for quite a while if you're just starting a business, I think, before you would need some of these other things. Like maybe you don't need to track projects right away. And if you don't have inventory, that's, it looks like that's an additional charge. So inventory is added $39 per month. So I like the fact that like you're not paying for an add-on to inventory if you don't actually need that. I like that that's sort of an option. Because, there's going to be a lot of businesses that might need these other things, but they don't want to like unnecessarily bloat the price. Like you're talking about the highest price here for all of the multi-currency, being able to track projects, all the things, being $80 per month, where I don't think you get project tracking, until Plus. Project profitability here in QuickBooks is normally $100. With the discount for the first year would be $70, but you're kind of looking at when you're comparing established, it's going to be kind of close to like that plus. Okay, so it does seem like Xero is a little bit lower cost overall, so I do like that about it. And then I think when you actually look at the user interface, if we get into, I do want to do a walkthrough of Xero, so I'm going to be doing that in the near future. But if you want to see some specific things with Xero, please put them in the comment section below. But I think that the cost is a little bit better compared to QuickBooks overall. And then make sure when you are on the Xero site, make sure you are in the right country. So I noticed that one time I logged in or I went to the website and I was in Canadian prices. So, it'll say up at the top which country. I closed out that little thing. But some things to think about. You can, if you're an accountant or a bookkeeper, you can have like a practice management aspect of it. So that's great. And you can have a partner program. And then there are bookkeepers that works exclusively with Xero. There's more and more that are kind of leaning into Xero as well. So you can find a bookkeeper if that's important to you and you don't want to do this yourself. There are bookkeepers that focus on Xero. And I think those are kind of the high levels. I would say as far as niche, Xero doesn't have a niche. They are going to be for small businesses. They're not going to be niched into just one type of industry. They can do the inventory. They integrate with some of the e-commerce stuff. Those are some of the kind of ones that might be a little bit trickier to deal with sometimes, but you could definitely, if you're just a B2B service company as well, Xero should be just fine for you. So if you are planning to DIY, I think it'd be really important to see what it looks like. So that's kind of why I want to do these walkthroughs. But overall, it looks like a pretty good option. So let's move on to the next one that I want to tell you about, and that is FreshBooks. So you can go and find FreshBooks by going to clairecfo.com/FreshBooks. And this one we'll go through some features as well. So FreshBooks, I want to say specifically it has been built for a more niche audience. It is specifically for service businesses, okay? You will not find inventory in FreshBooks, and you will probably never find inventory in FreshBooks. They are very specifically targeting the small business that does not need inventory tracking, okay? Now, that might be fine for a lot of you. I know a lot of you are service-based businesses, and so that is no big deal. And that actually, you never have to worry about it becoming more expensive because of that. Okay. So let's kind of look at a couple things here. So high-level features. This is going to do a lot of the same things that QuickBooks and Xero are able to do. You're going to be able to send your invoicing. You're going to be able to track your payments. You can time track in FreshBooks. It's part of the standard package, which I think is cool and interesting. I think that's the case. Yeah, so you can do time tracking in the system. And again, because this is built towards service businesses, they've tried to think about what things would be helpful to create an invoice from time. So if you're doing work for somebody, getting that directly into an invoice to go out to a customer, they want to kind of make that process pretty streamlined. All the regular accounting that we can do, tracking expenses and receipts, they have mileage tracking and, just regular bookkeeping. You can put together proposals and estimates for your clients. And, there's also the project tracking as well. And then let's see what they do for payroll. Paying your team. Oh, so this is actually FreshBooks Payroll powered by Gusto. Okay. So it looks like it's built into the system, but Gusto is kind of the powering platform. And then I wonder what team management is. Manage your business with team member roles. Oh, just roles and permissions. So as you have other team members, yeah, so team management is really just about user access and who gets what level of access they want. So I'm going to look at this small business real quick. This is kind of who they're trying to work with: freelancers, self-employed people, businesses with employees, businesses with contractors. All of that could be handled within the system. And then industry type: marketing and creative agencies, construction and trades, consulting, IT, legal, and business and professional services. So kind of like what I said, service businesses, this is really built for you. So they do have an accounting partner program as well. If you are an accountant and you're trying to do more FreshBooks, there are some accountants that only focus on FreshBooks. I have met some, and they're few and far between. I would say one of the downsides I've seen about FreshBooks is that there aren't very many bookkeepers that focus on FreshBooks. So it's really good if you are very confident DIYing, and it's actually built to be pretty intuitive, and it's really built for the DIYer. But if you are like, no, I definitely want to have a bookkeeper, I do not want to do this myself, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time, maybe a lot of a hard time finding a bookkeeper on FreshBooks. That's what I've noticed. Now, the more time passes, the more accountants are going to come on, and I know that they are actively working on building out their accounting partner program. But just so you know, you might have a little bit of a hard time finding a FreshBooks specific accountant, okay? Or a FreshBooks specific bookkeeper. So let's take a look at the pricing here. We've covered the other things. This is just a deal. These are going to come and go at different points in times, but let's talk about pricing. So let's look at the before price. So was $19 a month down here. This is for the light version. And send invoices to 5 clients, track expenses, create and send estimates, get paid via ACH and bank transfers, and generate tax time reports. Okay, so that's okay. I mean, that's for a pretty minimal activity, no more than 5 invoices. It says send invoices to 5 clients. I wonder if that's the same 5 clients every month. That would be an interesting limitation. And then you can compare plans down here. Maybe we'll look at it this way. So we next jump up to $33 a month, and we get to have up to 50 clients. And then what else are we getting here? We can create estimates, proposals, and retainers, and we can run financial and accounting reports. Oh, that's interesting. You can't get financial and accounting reports unless you're on this one. Profit and loss, you can't get a profit and loss unless you're on the plus. Ooh, okay. Xero's not like that. You can probably get a profit and loss. That's interesting. Okay, so light, I wouldn't recommend, because if you can't even run a profit and loss report, I don't like that at all. So that's an interesting distinction. You also get to capture receipts by photo, okay, and then you can have accountant access. So if you are in light, this is truly a business that is very, very, very minimal activity, and you are just wanting that once a year report to send to your tax accountant. You're not looking at monthly financials. You're probably just kind of doing bare minimum. Light is bare minimum. Okay, I probably wouldn't recommend that for really anybody who's trying to grow a business. And then let's look at the next one up, the premium, which goes from $33 to $60 a month normally. What else are you getting here? Unlimited clients, track expenses, we're doing that. Capture bills, and then project profitability. We can customize email templates, okay? Yeah, if you don't know what you want to do, you can talk to a consultant. They have that over here. One thing that I think is kind of lame about FreshBooks, actually, is this like add-on team members. So right now, you have to pay more to add on additional team members, like if you wanted to add on somebody to do your invoicing for you or something like that. Anybody who's time tracking, I'm guessing they would need to be a team member. So this builds pretty quickly. If you're talking about like having 5 team members at, it's $33 per month on base, add 5 team members, that's another $55, whether or not that probably doesn't include the owner. So let's say $44. And that just, I don't know, like I don't love this idea. Now I understand that like you might have a separate tax, or you might have a separate hours tracking software that is going to cost you some money, but this kind of bothered me a little bit. Maybe I could get around it, but I thought that was interesting. And then, payroll down here. This is going to be pretty similar to the Gusto pricing for payroll, okay? So interesting pricing choices. You can do it yearly and save some money. And then obviously they have like a sign up bonus for the first 6 months. So overall, FreshBooks might be a solution if you do have a small team and you're wanting to kind of have an all-in-one solution for payroll, time tracking, invoicing, bill pay, all in one. I do see that it is providing that solution for you. I don't see it being maybe a great solution for a larger team. It doesn't scale very well. And then also when we really get into, I think FreshBooks knows that they're meant for small teams. So I don't think they're trying to go after those bigger companies anyway. But it is a solution, and especially if you are planning to stay small, not growing, you don't want to change your accounting system, this might be a good option for you. Okay, let's go to the newest player that I've been hearing more about recently, and that is Puzzle. Puzzle is basically an AI-enabled accounting software. Now, everybody throws that around. Everybody's saying they're AI-enabled. So I don't know. They're saying it. That doesn't mean that it's changing my life. So I do want to get into Puzzle, and I would love to actually see it. So I'm looking forward to booking a demo. I tried to book a demo actually. Here's a little bit of feedback for the Puzzle team, and there was nobody available. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But this product is really more focused on founders of startup companies. Okay, so there's startup jargon, and there's metrics that people are always wanting to track in the startup world. So you can tell with even the words that they're using on this, they're talking about founders, and then some of the metrics that they're showing, the net burn, MOM, that means month over month, and then saying net burn, that's talking about your cash burn. So just the way that even the terminology of what they're using for this platform, it's more geared towards a startup company that might have recurring revenue. Now, because of that, they have some solutions that other platforms don't have. So I think when we go into this under solutions for formation, if you're building a new business, especially a software as a service business, they have some really interesting insights and things that they can track. Let me see. So yeah, here, they can track runway. So how much cash do you have until you run out of money? So they have net burn, bank burn, operating income, and then so they have the ways they can talk about burn in a couple different ways. That's essentially cash flow in other terms, but the way that they're going to be measuring it is going to be specifically around how much cash do we have and how long is it going to be before it runs out. That's basically what startups are all about, is how much money can we get in, and then how can we use it efficiently, burn it up so that we can create more money or create more value and go for the next round of fundraising. So they have a lot specifically geared towards that. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be a startup, that's all you care about, but I think it is interesting that is the way that they've gone with this solution. Let's go to the product for founders. So they have lots of testimonials on here. They do have, interesting charts. I think that these are helpful to look at. This fundraising and investor reporting, you can see here, they're talking about how much is an annualized revenue. They're talking about MRR and ARR, monthly recurring revenue and annual recurring revenue. You can basically build these reports, which is helpful for a potential investor to know about. And then they have, typically tax compliance, and then they're saying they save time. So this is, I think, where some of the automations and maybe AI stuff comes in. So this is what I would like to see if I actually get in here and I'm able to play around with the platform. So interesting overall. I'm excited to learn more about Puzzle for sure. And then obviously they have resources and whatnot. They do have a platform for accountants. We can just leave that there. Let's look at the pricing. So one thing I thought was interesting is they have this basics over here that is actually $0 per month. That is obviously trying to get people to start early with the platform. So I think it's a smart move. Pretty limited on what it provides. It provides cash or accrual books, profit and loss, balance sheet, but at least we have a profit and loss and a balance sheet. Do not use a software that will not produce you a profit and loss and a balance sheet. Okay. Just don't do it. So accounting basics, I think that's interesting. It says it's $25 a month when your expenses are over $5,000 per month. And then we move up from there. So we start to get to be $50 a month, and then $100 a month, and then $300 a month. They're wanting people to sign up at this $100 a month. It gets them advanced automation. This is where the AI starts to kick in. And then they are saying that there's insights. I don't know what these insights are yet, but I'm very curious to find out. Revenue Explorer and Spend Explorer, they're probably trying to make recommendations of some sort. That's what I'm thinking. Or just insights, maybe. Yeah, so I want to see this. So I definitely want to see it to see, and it looks like they're saying if your expenses are over $25K per month, then you have to go up to the next one. So that's interesting. We haven't seen any of the other platforms really care about your expense level. Notice it's not revenue level, because for founders, a lot of times we're burning money before we're actually making money. So they do it by expenses, and that's a little different. So. Okay, well, which one of these should I do first? Which one should I walk through first? What are you most curious about? I would love to hear your questions about any of these platforms. And, I'm going to be a learner along with you in this, because I've been such a QuickBooks user for such a long time. Now stepping into, these other platforms, I'm excited to step into new platforms and learn and see what else there is out there. But, kind of bear with me as I'm figuring it out as well. So, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. Tell me which one you're most excited about, and also tell me if there's one that I've missed that is glaringly amazing and I need to go and look into it. Okay. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.